My name is Samantha. I will always be a Jersey girl at heart. It's where I grew up. It's where I left a piece of myself. And I am 27 years old now. I just turned 27. I'm pretty happy about it. But I spent the last 5 years living in New York City, and then I also spent a little bit of time in Pennsylvania when I went to school. So I pretty much spent a majority of my life in the northeast of the United States. So I work for a company called Remote Year Now, which is a platform for digital nomads to travel the world while working. Most of my day is spent connecting with people, which is one of my favorite changes that I've made so far in my career, is that I truly get the chance to connect with people instead of being the majority of the time in front of my computer at this point. Some of the responsibilities I have as the operations manager, if you will, are setting up our transportation from location to location, and also making sure everything is running smoothly at our workplaces on a day-to-day basis, so that all of our digital nomads can do their job as smoothly as they would from anywhere in the world. I don't know if I necessarily decided to become a digital nomad as I had decided to take a career change, and that career change led me into being a digital nomad. My day-to-day at my old job, I would walk into the office, greet all the doormen because I knew them really well at that point, and then I would kind of settle down into my cubicle and put my head down and get to work on whatever it was I was working on that day. Throughout the day I would have some client calls, sometimes I would have client meetings, but I would say the majority of the time I spent working in Excel and spreadsheets on a computer. So I had been looking for a change for about probably the past year, and I didn't know necessarily what that was going to look like or what that was going to be. I just knew at that moment where I had been sitting for the past 5 years was not something I wanted to do long term. I could tell it just wasn't for me. I would say I was looking to transition from my old job for about a year. And it was looking into the other things, other aspects of my company that sparked a different passion in me than my daily job. While my daily job challenged me in certain ways that I really liked, it didn't really spark a passion in me as other things that I did on a daily basis. For instance, one of the years that I was with the company, I actually volunteered over 100 hours with the corporate responsibility group because it was just something that I loved to do, and it wasn't part of my day job, but I became enthralled with it. And since that sparked that in me, I was looking into that area, and was that an area I wanted to live in and work in and transition my career into that. I had also been a big part of our women's committee for my specific group within my company, which we had about 150 women. And in finance, it's a very male-driven career still, even in this modern day and age. And I put together a lot of workshops and different meetings and talks just to connect the women and even just to network. So that was like another part that helped me transition into this new career. But I had one point that really sparked me. There was a workshop with my old company, and it was a purpose workshop. The whole day was about people who had found their purpose and what our purpose was. It doesn't have to be as big as a person thinks. Purpose is a big word, and I think a lot of people put pressure on that word. But purpose could just be you having your coffee every morning and reading a newspaper and finding a quote or learning something new. It can just be you finding a small purpose in every day. So it was all about us finding those small purposes within our job that kept us going. But what it sparked for me was realizing that my purpose wasn't in my day-to-day job. It was in those other things that I was doing. It was in the women's committee, and it was in the corporate responsibility group. And so that's really the time that I started to look to transition from my old job to my new career, which is more about organization and people management and more of the areas that I was interested in. When I first saw the role for remote year, I had looked at it and instantly felt a spark. And I remember thinking, this is me on a piece of paper. I don't know how they did it. I don't know where it came from, but this describes absolutely and everything that I want to be doing and that I can do on it. And that made me so excited. And it is absolutely the reason that I took this over any other job. My main purpose now is to help other people find their purposes on a daily basis by being able to do their jobs from wherever they are. And one of the things that I loved when I first heard about this job that I currently have is the chance to bring together a community of people that are, one, looking for their purpose, and two, have so many different skill sets. And sometimes it only takes a conversation that I have with one of the many people here within the community to make me realize that that purpose that I feel is also something that everybody here is working on as well. Everybody has their small purposes, and I feel as if I have the opportunity to help people find that. And that is my biggest purpose I have. It's funny because I feel like Spanish was one of my first passions in life that I had. I took my first Spanish class in 8th grade when I was about 14, and it sparked something in me, and I felt that it was one of the subjects throughout my whole time studying in school that I knew was going to be useful. Sometimes you look back, and I still look back, and I look at certain subjects that I haven't used since being in high school or being in college even. And Spanish has been the one thing that I've continued for my life. It was one of my majors in college, and then I also spent some time living and working in Spain, and I haven't spoken it in about 5 years. And in the past 3 months that I've been in South America, I've actually had to use it way more for my job, and even that one aspect of my career change has been really incredible. I've just loved using my Spanish all the time. The best part for me so far about being a digital nomad is I have seen myself grow in so many ways over the past 4 months that I have been one. And it's a growth that I truly believe, and I've made this statement, and I know it's a strong one, but within the past 3 or 4 months, I feel as if I have grown in so many different ways, more than in the past 3 years. I feel as if I have grown in all areas, whether that's personal, professional. I went from a very technical job on a daily basis, and I was nervous about making that change, and I was nervous that I wouldn't be challenged anymore because I was so used to being challenged in such a specific way. But taking this new job where I'm learning an entire new skill set, I'm surrounding myself with brand new people that I learn from every day, and learning about myself and trying to put my material needs behind has kind of made me learn about myself in my personal aspects, my professional aspects, and just grow as a person. To follow me, I don't necessarily have a blog. That's something I've thought about, but for me, probably the best way to follow me is on Instagram. It's my favorite form of social media. Sam Tom Travels.
Awesome.